Hey brother, most men do not lose a woman with the wrong words. They lose her before they even speak. They lose her the moment their body starts asking for approval, the moment the room goes quiet and they rush to fill it, the moment a beautiful woman looks at them and they start smiling too hard, joking too fast, talking too much, reaching for anything that says, "Please don't lose interest in me." That is where attraction dies. Not in the line, not in the sentence, in the leak. I learned that in a way I did not expect. I was watching an interview. Nothing special, just another polished room, bright lights, polished people, all the usual noise. Then she walked in. Global star, beautiful, famous, fully aware of the effect she had. But that was not what hit me. What hit me was how little she did. She did not try. She did not flood the room with charm. She did not perform warmth. She did not smile like she needed anyone there to like her. She just entered, slowly, calmly, cleanly, and the whole room changed shape around her. People straightened up, voices dropped, eyes locked in. Not because she demanded attention, because her presence made everybody else reveal how scattered theirs was. She was not louder than the room. She was more settled than the room, and that was the lesson. Power without words. That day, I realized most men have been trained backwards. They think attraction begins when they start talking. It does not. It begins the second you are seen. It begins in how you walk in, where your eyes rest, how your shoulders sit, whether your breathing is shallow or grounded. Whether your face is asking to be approved of or whether it already knows where it stands. And that is why some men kill attraction before they ever open their mouth. Stay with me here, because this is where the whole thing flips. Most men are not unattractive because they lack game. They are unattractive because they leak the need to be liked, and women feel that leak instantly. A man says, "Nice to meet you," but his body says, "Please validate me." He asks a question, but his energy says, "I hope I'm not boring you." He smiles, but it is not a grounded smile. It is a survival smile, a harmless smile, a "please be comfortable so I can relax" smile. Women feel all of that before they process one word. That is why some men can say very little and still leave a mark, while others talk for 10 minutes and leave nothing. One man is expressing himself. The other is managing perception in real time. One is rooted. The other is editing himself on the spot, praying the version he is presenting is enough. And that is exhausting to be around. You want the truth? A lot of men talk too much because silence scares them. Silence exposes whether they feel solid or not. If a woman goes quiet and looks at them, they panic. They think the moment is dying. So they start entertaining, explaining, performing. They do not let tension breathe. They kill it because they do not trust themselves enough to sit in it. But tension is where attraction wakes up. Not awkward silence, not dead silence, charged silence. The kind where your eyes stay calm, your breathing stays slow, your face does not beg for rescue. The kind where you are not trying to force the next moment because you are not afraid of the one you are already in. That is what grounded masculine presence feels like. It does not rush to fill space. It lets space become pressure, and pressure pulls people in. Now, what I'm about to tell you next is what most men completely miss. Stillness is not mystery by itself. Plenty of insecure men are quiet. Plenty of awkward men say very little. That is not power. Power is not silence alone. Power is silence with self-possession behind it. Big difference. A needy man can go quiet and still feel loud. A grounded man can say one sentence and feel heavy. That is because presence is not about saying less as a trick. It is about not spilling yourself everywhere. Emotional containment, that is the word. Most men leak through movement. They adjust their clothes too much, nod too much, laugh too quickly, grab their phone to self-soothe, compliment too early, speak before they have actually felt the room. All of that is a leak. Containment is the opposite. You hold your center, you let your eyes settle, you let your body arrive before your words do. This is where it gets dangerous for the average guy, because he has been taught that if he is not actively entertaining, he is losing. Wrong. The man who can be fully present without grabbing for attention becomes the most felt person in the room. Why? because everybody else is chasing the moment while he is owning it, and women notice that fast. Not because they are doing calculations in their head, because their nervous system feels the contrast. One man is trying to enter her world. The other already has a world inside him. One wants to be chosen. The other is simply there, whole, observing, deciding whether the energy in front of him is even worth engaging. That is rare. That is why the room bent around that woman in the interview. She was not asking permission to exist. She was not auditioning. She was not saying, "Look at me." Her energy said, "I am here." That is all. And if you can build that as a man, you stop needing tricks. You stop asking, "What should I say?" and start asking, "What is my presence communicating before I speak?" That is the real work. And let me be honest, it is not glamorous. It is built alone, in solitude, in boring moments, in the gym when you keep your breath steady under pressure, in conversations where you stop interrupting silence to save yourself, in rooms where you stop checking whether people are noticing you, in nights where you sit in your own company without grabbing a screen to numb the discomfort. That is where presence is forged. Not on dates, not in lines, not in rehearsed confidence, in nervous system control. Because when your body no longer begs the room to accept it, the room starts accepting it automatically. Now stay with me, because this next part matters. Eye contact. Most men misunderstand it. They think it is about dominance, staring longer, looking harder, trying to intimidate. No, real eye contact is transmission. It says, "I see you and I do not disappear in the seeing." That is what makes it powerful, not aggression, stability. You do not dart away the second tension appears. You do not stare like a hungry man trying to consume her. You look. You receive, you hold, then you release. That rhythm matters. A clean look, a slow break, no anxiety in the movement. That feels strong. It feels controlled. It feels like a man who is not overwhelmed by beauty, not panicked by chemistry, not desperate to get somewhere. And when a woman feels that, her energy changes. She starts leaning toward you, not because you convinced her with words, but because your nervous system gave her something to respond to. This is also why slow movement matters so much. Fast movement is usually fear trying to hide itself. Fast speech, fast laughs, fast compliments, fast touching, fast explanations. It all comes from the same place. I need to keep momentum or I'll lose her. Slow movement says something else. It says, I am not afraid of time. I do not need to force this. If there is something here, it will breathe. That is magnetic, not because it is flashy, because it is expensive. Most people are cheap with their energy, always throwing it out, hoping to get something back. But expensive energy is contained, deliberate, selective. It does not smile at everything. It does not speak at every opening. It does not hand out approval for free. That is what that woman showed me. Grace with limits, warmth without availability, presence without pursuit. And that is exactly what men need to learn. Because a lot of men think attraction is built by leaning in harder, more effort, more charm, more reach. But the moment you start over-investing in being liked, you leave your masculine center. You become reactive, performative, predictable. And once you are predictable in that needy way, the charge drops. Not because you are too nice, because your energy stopped feeling grounded. What I'm about to tell you next is the shift. You stop entering rooms to be noticed. You enter rooms to be present. You stop talking to women to get chosen. You talk to see what their energy reveals. You stop trying to win the moment and start holding yourself in it. That changes the whole dynamic. Now you are not asking, how do I make her like me? You are asking, can she even meet this energy? That is a different man. And women feel that difference. They ask more questions. They lean in longer. They break their own frame to reach. Not because you manipulated them, because you finally stopped leaking. You finally stopped filling the space with nervous effort. You became someone who can sit in stillness without shrinking. Hold contact without asking for comfort. Move through a room without trying to be crowned by it. That is presence. And that is why so many men lose women long before words. They never arrive in themselves. They show up physically, but not energetically. Their body is there. Their mind is outside itself, asking, how am I doing? What does she think? Do I have her yet? That split kills the charge. But when a man is fully with himself, fully in his body, fully unhurried, fully unattached to applause, attraction starts before the conversation even begins. So here is the truth, brother. You do not need more lines. You do not need more performance. You do not need to be louder, funnier, or more impressive. You need to become harder to shake. Let the room feel that you are not starving for approval. Let your silence say you are already whole. Let your eyes say you are not afraid of contact. Let your body say you are not in a rush to be chosen. That is the game. Not chasing attention, radiating presence. And when you build that for real, women do not just hear you, they feel you before the first word ever leaves your mouth.